Declan, Service Source and My Home Care, you've come up with a novel app. Can you explain to me what that's about?
Yeah, so a number of years ago, I was over in the UK at a show called Health Plus Care, and it sort of promotes the latest developments in the whole area of care. And I attended a talk at that, and it talked about the constraints on the service in terms of having to reduce the number of visits and the time of the visits. And in one case, they spoke about reducing a home care visit to 15 minutes.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, how can you deliver
Yeah.
quality of care in 15 minutes? Because it could take somebody 10 minutes just to answer the door. So we started thinking about how we could work with technology to improve the level of supervision and care that we could provide, and maybe monitor people outside of the times when we would be delivering personal care. And again, we worked with our friends up in DKIT, who were, I think, are probably world leaders in this space in terms of they have the Netwell Centre, which looks at research around how to support people living independently at home. And we started developing our own technology. We took part in a European project with the University of Geneva and with DCU, and that ran for about 3 years. And at the end of it, we had produced an app which we've now called Isaac, and it's available on isaac.care. And basically, it's free to download. It records things like a person's vitals, things like weight, things like blood pressure, and then it provides an actual family carer with the information that they might require if something goes wrong. For example, if they need to attend a GP or another clinician, they have a history of what their vital signs are. We've since then started to develop that further, and we've targeted 4 specific areas. People who are falls risks, people who have diabetes, people who have blood pressure issues or COPD, and people with dementia. And how we support these people is that we have technology sensors that we can place in the home, and with the use of the app, the sensors record movement, they'll record weight, they record blood pressure, and they transfer that through Bluetooth or through Wi-Fi onto the app. So there's really nothing for the service user to do other than just to open the app, and the full history of the actual measurements are there. And what that does effectively is it provides 24/7 monitoring for people who require support. And it's our way of supporting, let's say, family caregivers who, in many cases, as I said earlier, are unpaid. And it maybe gives them back a little bit of time and provides maybe some independence for the service user as well.
So just so I understand it, I mean, this is application at various levels, obviously for the carers and for the medical people who can monitor or indeed get the record of an individual who's vulnerable in some particular way, but equally for the carer. So a family carer could, from remotely on their phone, keep an eye basically on an elderly parent or whatever.
Absolutely, and I'll give you an example that might illustrate that a little bit better. In that, so we have a number of trials ongoing at the moment in the area, and one of our service users had to go to Dublin to a hospital appointment yesterday. So they were able to access the app in the hospital basically, and they were able to see the blood pressure recordings and the actual weight of the individual and other vitals. And not only that, but we were able to see that person as they travelled to Dublin and verify the fact that they arrived at the hospital safely and arrived home safely, most importantly. And then this person also, we can set geofences around the...
What's a geofence?
Oh, sorry. So a geofence, basically, if you are operating the app on your phone, you can enable a GPS location on the phone. And basically, on a map, then we can actually plot out an area where it's safe for you to travel. And if you go outside that area, then an alert comes back to the app, and it tells the caregiver that the person is outside where they're supposed to be normally, and they follow up with a phone call, or else they'll contact a family member to check in on them.
So there's no physical fence, but there is this app fence. So if somebody drifts, say somebody with dementia wanders, you've got an early warning system.
Correct, and it's so useful. Like, for example, we have another service user, and we set an alert. So if the front door opens before 9 a.m. or after 9 p.m., an alert comes to the app, and it comes to the primary caregiver, and they contact the service user. If the service user doesn't respond, then we have we can actually provide even first responders then who are in the area will travel out and will actually visit the home of the individual and make sure that they're safe and well.
And all this is developed locally here in Dundalk in collaboration with the folk out in DKIT.
Yes, we're delighted. We have an expert in this area advising us at the moment in Rod Bond, who has years' experience in this space, and we have a team based here in Dundalk developing the technology, testing it. As you can imagine, it's quite new, so there are lots of let's say new sensors and stuff like that, and we have to really rigorously test them before we deploy them into the home. And I'm delighted to say that that's going on at the moment as we speak, not at our offices, but because people are working from home at the moment, but right here in Dundalk.
Declan, I think you call the app Isaac, is that right? And why Isaac?
Yeah, so we had a number of different sessions around this, and we wanted to personalize the app. So people in many cases could have a sort of a phobia about technology. So eventually where we see this going is that the app becomes a virtual assistant and could, for example, take the shape of an avatar or some other type of personal assistant. So we thought about things like Alexa, and then we looked at the word Isaac, and it was a name, and we did some research online, and it wasn't widely used, so we adopted that as being the actual name of the app. And I think it's quite good because
I like it.
You refer to it as a sort of your own personal friend.
And it's available now as we speak, is it? And people can get it if they want?
Absolutely. It's available on both the App Store, the iOS App Store, and the Android Store, and the people can download it and set it up with a care circle. So basically the principle is that you can invite people into your care circle and share whatever information you want. And you can set up several care circles. So you can have one for your family, you can have one for yourself and your neighbours, and you might decide that, I don't want to share my medical information with them, I'll just share my location with them, for example. And you can set that up within the app itself.
It's absolutely fascinating, and I've no doubt the application of it will be hugely supportive and helpful to many people out there. It really is fantastic, and it's, as you say, it's early days, so God knows where this is going to go. And it's all coming from Dundalk, from Service Source here in Dundalk.
Absolutely, down the road. So
Declan, again, just if people want to get it, they go to where?
Yeah, so we go to www.isaac.care, C-A-R-E, or you can get it through our www.myhomecare.ie website either. So both of those are linked directly. And there's lots of information on the website in terms of how that works as well.
Well, Declan, I'm sure you'll have lots of people looking to avail of that.